Oh my goodness, sorry for taking so long. Hail to thee, my kindred. I hope you're all having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, and night, wherever and whenever you are. I almost forgot to have set up my other device. But how are you all doing? I had to wait for my water to heat up, and I didn't do that quickly enough. I had to do a couple of things in this last hour prior to stream, and that involved waiting for my food to cook because the matriarch and my brethren also had to feed, and therefore it just took time to make their food. I wanted to give them their food first before I ate my own. How is I? I is good. I is good. I is Baba. Isn't that a game where you play as like a little creature? Or Baba is you? Something like that? Sorry, random like brain just tangent, I guess. I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Nothing. Baba is you, right? That's the name. That's the name. But nothing different from any other day in particular. It was frigid outside today and inside last night, considering it was hella cold, for lack of a better word. Extremely cold. I did not enjoy my quote unquote rest last night. Got to rest a bit more during the actual morning though, because it warmed up, thankfully. No news is good news, so they say, so they say. I'm probably gonna take off my hoodie though. I am feeling rather warm. I'm wearing too many layers right now. One moment, let me just make sure the microphone is not on. There we go. Put my headphone back on. Headphones? Headphone. Is it headphones or headphone? You harlot? Excuse you, sir. But you are not in the right environment to be calling anyone a harlot. A harlot. Can you imagine being called a harlot unironically? Anyhow, if you don't know who Just a Carrot is, we did play a game created by Just a Carrot long ago. And by long ago, I mean last year? I think roughly. Actually, no, hold on. Months ago for sure. I always forget that it's not like I've been streaming for an extremely long time. But let's just say many months ago, played a very long, you know, maybe not by visual novel standards, very long, but by the standard person's of the modern times attention span, a kind of long visual novel created by them. And it was a good one. It was actually pretty damn good. It got my brain all tickled in the right way when it came to making me think about the story and what was going to happen. And it was actually pretty darn good. And so ever since then, I told myself, hey, I'm gonna try and keep an eye on Carrot, see what Carrot comes up with next time around. And well, Carrot did come out with something. Well, it was Harlot or Lot Lizard, because he wanted something more creative than a whore. I don't think I've ever heard of someone being called a Lot Lizard. That is new to me. Very new to me. Man, I feel like under any other context, that second one might sound like a slur to someone. But anyhow, here's a bunch of content warnings for the games. This first one of the two that we are playing is called? It's actually a very long-winded name now that I think about it, but it is the name. My vampire boyfriend smokes Lucky Strikes. That's the name. Good for the eyes, you hear? Eh, who knows? Who knows? There's the content warning. Nothing too freaky tends to happen in Just a Carrot's game, so I know I don't got anything to worry about. This is the first of the two that we're gonna play. The second one is called Where the Day Springs Red, which is technically a demo to a two-parter from what I understand when I read the description. Let me just double check. Oh, carrots, you mean? Yes, carrots. So they said were good for the eyes. I don't think they actually are, unfortunately. It is propaganda. British propaganda at that, which is 10 times worse. I do want to read the description of this game prior to actually getting into it. Okay, I spelled the thing wrong. Where the day springs red. Me when I spell. Okay, apparently Ichio is deciding not to cooperate with me. Come on, Ichio. I know you know what I'm talking about. Oh, that's why. I spelt when instead of where. Silly me. Yeah, no, you don't know how prostitutes would be good for the eyes. I mean, they're good for the eyes, just in a different manner, I suppose. Right, here we go. So this is the description for my boyfriend, my vampire boyfriend smokes Lucky Strikes. There's something off about the new guy Iggy meets in an alleyway one night. Maybe it's the giant fangs, or maybe it's the fact that he keeps making hungry allusions to Iggy's blood. No matter. He's a charming son of a gun, and Iggy's not used to such gentlemanly advances. Let's invite him over and help Iggy use his charms to keep his new vampire beau from sucking his blood. Can Iggy make it through the night, or has he gotten himself up to the to his neck in trouble? It is mainly a comedic horror romance, involving gay vampires. So be ready for that. Ah, that's cute. little symbol. I forgot how the game's loud. There we go. Okay, that should be a little less loud. I hope. If it's still loud on OBS, do tell. This is just the intro music, so maybe I should just go here. Let's see. There we go. Okay, that is less loud for my ears. Holy moly. I forget that most of the games I play are very loud due to the fact that I do tend to play them at a lower volume than most people. So just getting blasted in the ears, not the most pleasant, but I can deal with it. About the same volume as my voice right now, or before I turned it down? Because if it's fine here, then it shall be so. Better now? Okie dokie. Alright, let's start. Now, mind you, the characters in this game are technically the same characters as the ones from our Wonderland, but this is a little fun spin-off that's not connected outside of that. So, do be warned, I suppose, in that capacity. Bun Meet Bat, Episode 1. Wait! His footsteps echo across the damp pavement, a mocking jeer to his plight. And as he clutches his bag to his chest, he can feel his heart screaming at him. A harried cacophony thrumming along the surface of his skin and making his eyes blur with tears of frustration. Stop! Wait! He wills his feet faster, but already his knees feel like jelly, threatening to collapse with each renewed step. And he can feel the laces of his brown Oxford beginning to loosen and flap. He reaches out, fingers stretched and trembling against the dark backdrop of the city's skyline. I almost said city skyline. Please, 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 please. But it's too late. Without as much as a pause, the bus, currently idling at the E Grand Eve, stops closest, its doors shut with an air of finality and pulls away. Well, that was very intense for running towards the bus stop. You know what? That's fair, though. That's fair. I have felt the same adrenaline spike whenever I'm about to miss the bus. So, I can't blame little Iggy here, whose name is technically Ignatius, I think. I'm also in the way of the text a bit, but not like you care, you have ears. Yeah, there's not much I can do about that, other than hide myself in the corner like a little rat. But then again, you don't get to see my little tail behind me then, and that is sad. It is kind of poofy there. Leaving behind nothing but a plume of diesel-dyed exhaust fumes in its wake. Oh. It is with a melancholic slump that Ignatius Iggy Maxwell slows to a stop at the now empty bus stop. Also a half trip over his loosened Oxfords and about a gallon of cold sweat leaking down his back, but that's neither here nor there. Poor Shap. He stands there, chest heaving, muscles quivering, and a faint taste of copper on his tongue. Kinda yucky, but... You know, that is weird. I guess, why does that happen? I don't think I've ever figured out a reason as to why you sometimes get that, taste in your mouth. I guess maybe it's just the clenching of your jaw makes you bleed ever so slightly. Not like an actual bleeding, but, so slight that you can taste it, I suppose. Assuming that is what occurred. As he watches the lights of the downtown bus disappear around the far corner in forlorn dejection. Boy, wait for it, failure. No, not calling Iggy a boy failure. We just started, how did you know? Crap. He wipes at his forehead, coughs. Crap, crap, crap. Not his day, not his day, not his day. First, his code getting ripped to shreds in the day's code review session. Then, someone stealing his pepperoni mustard sandwich out of the break room kitchen. That is a very specific kind of sandwich, but it kind of sounds good. And now this. And when all he wants to do is get home, change into sweats, and slay the hell out of an infected... Gore Cyclops and Dune for an hour or 5. DDON, I think. I almost read it as Doom. Like the Doom games. DDON for an hour or 5. He shifts his bag over to his other arm so he can check his watch. 7:05. Yet already dark as all get out. That's fall for you. Leave for work in the dark, go home in the dark. Dark, 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 dark. That do be how fall is, unfortunately. You can see it. Also, our intro is him missing the bus and listing all the bad things that happened to him. Well, fair enough, you know? Very, very quick summary of Iggy's character shown quite well. You see what I mean when I say Carrot is quite good at what Carrot does with Carrot's characters. At least the changing leaves and pumpkins sprouting up on people's doorsteps gives him a few sparks of joy here and there. With a half-hearted wander towards the nearby timetable, he checks for the next bus. Nearly an hour from now. Kraken, hail to thee. How do you do? Hopefully you're having a fine Tuesday. I almost said Monday, but it's not Monday, it is Tuesday. This day just can't stop getting any better, can it? He can walk home faster than that. He glances back at the bench. The street lamp is casting it in an eerie high contrast, dark shadows stretching across the sidewalk towards the black mass of brush and trees backdropping it. Is this a goon game? No, Kraken, it is not a goon game. What is it with everyone assuming I play goon games? That is, listen, I understand my my disposition may give off such an impression, but gosh darn. It will have many innuendos of the sexual kind, though. Probably. We are dealing with vampires in this one. Cobweb-like shadows from the branches overhead dance across the stretched surface of the pavement. Each shuddering breath of wind sending them into frenzied staccato, while dry leaves tumble and scrape past the bench's dull, rusted legs. One particularly garish one bouncing its way all the way over to the toe of his Oxford. He grimaces. It's a safe assumption to make about me. You lot truly have no faith in yours truly, and I do not blame thee. Yes, perhaps a walk wouldn't be that bad after all. Look at his little face. He could use the exercise. It's not like he just ran a marathon down half of Grand just to get here or anything. He takes a moment to tidy himself, re-knotting his shoes, fixing his collar, running a hand through the muscled curls of his white hair. Then claps his hands together in a gesture of peremptory self-motivation and sets off. Down the rest of Grand, then turns right at Ash, 5 blocks on First, then left into Cindy. 30 minutes max. Then he'll be wrapped up in his oversized hoodie and shooting down harpies like Mother effin' Legolas. You've got this, Iggy. Let's go, Iggy, let's go! His homeward trek starts strong. I don't know why I said stands. He's got a crisp groove to his step. His shoulders are back, and he's making a good time. All the way to Ash in only 10 minutes, and 10 skyward curses towards himself for choosing today to forget his headphones on his morning scuffle at the door. Because he sure as heck would be really benefiting from them right about now. It's when he's about 2 blocks down Ash that he starts losing steam. His steps have lost their crispness, and his breath has grown more labored, bringing his somewhat impressive speed walk down to a less awe-inspiring amble. It do be like that. I don't know why, but walking tends to be a little more extraneous than some may assume at times. I am more so for Iggy being a coder. Iggy, unfortunately, I do not think is one that goes out all that much, for a lack of a better word. He wipes at the sweat beneath his collar, wishing perhaps just slightly that he hadn't started off so ambitious. It's when he hits the small industrial neighborhood between Ingersoll and Ingram, though, that it really starts to catch up to him. Of course he's a coder. Yes, quite so. I mean, look at him. He's got his Oxford. I don't know what an Oxford is. He's got his little glasses. He's got the classic little side bag. Male. I don't know what they call that. I'm going to be honest. They used to call these satchels, but I do not know the modern term. It's when he hits the small industrial neighborhood between Ingersoll and Ingram, though, that it really starts catching up to him. And he has to take a moment to stop and catch his breath, a hand against the slick siding of an old car shop as he blames his reclusive tendencies for not getting out nearly as much as he should. He coughs, leans back against the gray vinyl cladding. There's no one around. Not even any cars rumbling past. The spotlight a few yards back is one of those hanging ones, rocking back and forth in the chilly night breeze with low, groaning creaks. Oxfords are, nerd shoes? Oh, okay. Gotcha. A sparkle of unease coils its way up his spine. He shoos it away. Another cough. A bit phlegmier this time. And he uses the propulsion to push himself up and away from the side of the building. What are you, 5? You've got to stop getting spooked by every little... He stops. Because he definitely hears something. In the alleyway just a few steps behind him. He goes deathly still, just listening. It's a fleshy noise, visceral and unsettling, rustling, then slurping, almost lewd sounding if this were any other situation. Short panted breaths followed by what sounds like a strained groan. The heck? This time the sparkle in his spine lights into a firecracker. And he goes ramrod straight, not even swallowing as his eyes lock onto the strip of black that's the alleyway just up ahead. An animal? But something about it sounds so human. He takes a hesitant step forward. He has to cross in front of the alley to continue his journey home, which is making him really wish he'd chosen a different building against which to muse over his debilitating lack of athleticism. God, it's louder now, and more voracious? Strange, juicy pops interspersed in desperate gulps of air. Another groan, this one making an uncomfortable flush rise to his cheek. Hello? He says without thinking, without even realizing, perhaps. Moving just close enough that he can peer into the darkened alley. Not a crumb of self-preservation in this boy. A failure indeed. Oh, just you wait. His eyes narrow against the black, nothing but permeating umbra meeting his gaze. Is someone there? I don't know why I'm particularly stumbling over my words today, holy moly. The noises stop abruptly. Silence for a moment, followed by rapid movement. And Iggy swears he can see something shift swiftly within the expanse of shadow. Shadow. Sorry, I don't know why. I read the word shadow and I just immediately went to Shadow the Hedgehog in my brain. He swallows hard, takes a step back. It starts as a tingle on the back of his neck, followed by a dull chill rooting itself in the deepest darkest recesses of his mind. He can't breathe, can't even blink. It's like his ribs are trapped in a vice. And with each passing moment, it's squeezing tighter and tighter against his diaphragm. Steps. Someone. Or something. Is approaching him. From the piercing black of the alleyway. His fingers are trembling now. He can't seem to move. Can only look straight into the undulating mass of shadow as the very air around him seems to quake with something latent, something augural, something hungry. Welling up, filling up, choking his lungs. His mouth opens, but no sound escapes. It's huge. Whatever it is, it's huge. He can sense it, feel it all over his skin, see it in the rolly penumbra, growing taller and taller, towering over him as the steps get closer and closer. And he swears. He swears. He can see two glowing red eyes, piercing dots gazing ravenously down upon him from on high. I... Run, 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 run. The screaming thought must activate something in the back of his mind because he feels his finger give a twitch. And he manages to slide one of his feet backwards, a rough, gravelly scrape against the pavement. Run, 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 run. He jerks back, twist on his heels, and... Yeesh! Can't a gent get some fucking privacy around here anymore? God damn! Of course I get a phone call. I'll be right back. Hardy har, make fun of my ringtone as much as you want. You cannot deny that it is attention grabbing, which is the point of alarms and ringtones, if you haven't noticed. That, and I also don't know how to change it because I'm a boomer when it comes to technology, so I'm sure I could figure it out if I really wanted to, but I don't. So it will remain that very loud and attention grabbing ringtone. Because if it were up to me, it would be something ridiculous. And that is probably not too good for me to have such power. Of all the times to get a phone call. It sure catches attention? Yes. Let me eat some nuts real quick. Which is the name of these little cookies, okay? Don't make any jokes. Nom nom nom. Okay, I'll eat one. Alright, back to the story, yeah? Iggy stops. Blinks. Stares at the short, portly man that's just stepped out of the alleyway. He's just some random guy. Some completely normal-looking random guy. He's got a little bit of blood right there. What were you doing back there? He manages to eke out, his throat giving an embarrassing squeak. Taking a piss. That ain't illegal, is it? No. Iggy stands there. The man stands there. Neither one saying a word. Iggy finds himself at a loss at the sight. You know, I did kind of forget to check for something. You know what? I'll deal with the consequences. I don't care. The man in front of him is not at all what he'd expected to walk out. Out of that alley. Well, truth be told, he's not sure what he'd expected to walk out of the alley. But it certainly hadn't been the short, chubby fellow staring up at him reproachfully from behind with his sunglasses. Sunglasses at night. That's strange, isn't it? Or not? Iggy's not sure what he should consider strange at this point. I know I'm a thing of beauty, but you don't gotta stare, bud. The man snickers, which jerks Iggy out of his reverie? Oh gosh, oh jeez, I'm sorry, I'm having a bit of a moment. Iggy runs a hand through his sweaty bangs with a sheepish laugh. Knuckles, hail to thee. Hey, clock licker? A clock licker. Alright. Is this FNAF? You wish it was. You sure wish it was. How is your day going, Knuckles? How is your day going? You sound tall, the man says simply, reaching into his back pocket for what ends up being a carton of cigarettes. Lucky Strikes, to be specific. Oh, I like that. Iggy tugs at his collar, blinks. Thank you? The man follows up with a wide grin as he bumps out a cigarette into his palm. He brings it to his lips. It's at this point that Iggy notices the trail of blood leaking down from the punchy man's mouth. His eyes widen. Are you hurt? More drawing? Hell yeah. You keep on doodling. You keep on doodling. You know what? I could probably move myself onto the other side so that I'm not blocking the text as much. I'll just, how do I, right here. Right. You know, I kind of forgot that the lamp up kind of is in the way. Lamp up! Can you sit down a little bit? Thank you, buddy. You just go over there. There you go. Huh? There's blood coming from your mouth. The man stops, brings a finger to his lips, pulling it through the red streak. Well, I'll be, he laughs. I took a hit back there. Bastard of a pipe jutting out right where I pulled it out. Wouldn't you know? I didn't think it hit me quite that hard, though. Liar, liar. His pants are on fire. You're taking Elder Scrolls men and drawing them as women. Classic. What if you took Elder Scrolls women and drew them as men, though? Thoughts? I forgot we get to make decisions. Take a look at him for it. Take a look at it for him, or suggest he sees a doctor. You know what? Let's go with the fun route. Let's just be like, let me take a look at it. I don't know why I said it like that. Perhaps due to some sort of residual guilt at interrupting the poor man in the middle of relieving himself, Iggy pulls out the small pack of tissues he always keeps in his bag. "Let me look at it for you," he says before promptly leaning in to take the man's shin. "How about play FNAF instead?" "No, I will not be playing FNAF." "Maybe someday though." "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" With the half-second delay, the man jerks backwards. "Holy frickin' hell, warn a guy before you go in for the kill." I'm just checking it's not too serious." You don't have to. The man trails off, cigarette nearly falling to the ground between his slackening lips. Iggy's hands are careful as he examines the damage. Or, well, lack of visible damage. Because he can't seem to find any gouge or scratch where the blood might be coming from. He gently swipes at the reddish trail with his tissue before pulling back on the man's lips to check for gum damage, only for his eyes to widen in awe. "Your teeth are huge." There's a puff of laughter against his fingers. Is that some kind of pickup line? Iggy's cheeks flush red with a snap. And he jerks backwards, wave of shame and embarrassment washing over him. "Sorry, that was weird, wasn't it? I'm always saying weird things." He tugs awkwardly at his fingers, starting to wish he had a big ol' hole to drop into. "Nah, weird is good," the man grins widely, again, tucking a finger inside his lip to tug it back. "Genetic," he simply says. "Dad's side." "Or?" He cocks his head. "No, yeah, dad's side." Very good excuse. Very, very smooth. He finally flicks the lighter on, holding a hand against the wind as he brings it to the tip of his cigarette. Once he gets it burning, he leans his head back to let out a small plume of smoke into the air. Want one?" He offers the carton. Iggy shakes his head. Nothing. He blinks. "No thank you," he says after another beat of silence. And the man shrugs, tucking the carton back into his pocket. Silence again. Iggy watches the smoke curling up above the man's head, the way his stubbled lips wrap leisurely around the filter with each drag. "I like one after a meal," the man says, as though in explanation after the silence stretches another beat. "Oh." The man cocks his head, and Iggy sees his nostrils twitch. "You know, you smell pretty good." Iggy blinks, stands up a bit straighter. He's unsure how to respond. The shorter man moves in towards him, nose going like crazy now. So close to Iggy's chest that he's forced to lean backward. Then, just as abruptly moving to the side of him, the back, lifting his arm up and sniffing around his wrist. "Fuck, you smell really good." "Okay." He's just straight up getting up in his personal space. Is this game about anything? It's a spin-off. It's a spin-off to... It's like a... Yeah, it's basically a spin-off, but not connected to the main game, which is Our Wonderland. It's using the same characters, but for a different story, which is a gay vampire romance. For lack of a better word. Or better phrasing, it is quite literally just gay vampire romance. That's what this is about. So gay sex. No, actually. I mean, maybe in the long run, but not in the short term, for sure. Because Iggy here is not into sex. At least, well, I assume Iggy here, which is white-haired character, is like Iggy in the last game, in which case he's asexual, I believe is the term. So technically no gay sex. Gay romance, though. Oh, shush, Knuckles. You're loving it. Thank you. You You smell like cigarettes, Iggy watches in confounded wonderment. And grease. The man seems to take notice of his odd behavior, sliding back around to Iggy's front with a sheepish laugh. You'll have to forgive me, but been in a bit of a drought lately if you catch my drift. He prods his elbow in the air. Did they turn off your water? Oh, did they turn off your water? Iggy's eyes widen in concern. The man blinks, staring up at him blankly, then snorts with such fervor that smoke bellows out his nostrils in humorous-looking puffs. Fuck, you're cute. Only Iggy has trouble making out the words between the subsequent coughs. Hear a hoot. The man sucks in a large drag, holding it for a moment before slowly releasing it into the air. You always this charming, or has Lady Luck blessed me this fine night? Iggy's cheeks warm, and he scratches at his nose, feeling all of a sudden bashful. Charming is not a word anyone has ever used about him before. I have been working on my owl impersonations. This makes the man guffaw with laughter, his belly jostling beneath his thick sweater. You, sir, are something else. A grin, stretching from ear to ear. His two large canines jutting out like misaligned nails. He jerks out his hand. Genzo, he says simply, as the smoke rolls out between his lips. Iggy smiles in response, taking the hand with a cheery shake. Iggy! His fingers feel decidedly thin in Genzo's thick grip. Iggy, that's nice. Up, down, The cigarette bobs in time with the bounce of their hands. Genzo releases his hand, clearing his throat as he lets out another puff of smoke. What's a sweet-sounding chap like you doing wandering around empty streets in the dark, eh? Iggy sheepishly curls a lock of hair around his ear. I missed the bus. Well, ain't them the pits. I'm real sorry about that. No, it was my own fault. Genzo taps the ash off his cigarette. Brings it back to his lips. Light, dark. It glows in and out in the dim streetlight as he seems to mull about something in his head. You got yourself a bike? A bike? No, I don't. Genzo starts scrounging around in his pockets. First the left, sending a few balls of lint to the ground between sherry metal clinks and clanks. Then to the right, clamping his cigarette between his lips so he can use both his hands to fish through the contents. Finally, he pulls out a small rectangular card, giving it a little flick before handing it over. My card, he says around the edges of his cigarette. Iggy takes it in bemusement, brows arcing. It's clearly an old card, somewhat off-color and boasting a brown stain on the edge. Hopefully that's coffee and nothing else, because if it's something else, I'm gonna be grossed out. But the print is still legible, as well as the small bike and wrench clip art on the corner. Bikes at the brook. 14E Staten Road. Staten. That sounds very New York. Your bikes are our delight. You have a shop? Genzo grunts in response, tossing the remainder of his cigarette to the ground and stamping it with the toe of his shoe. You fix bikes? Yeah, but I always got a few on sale. Good ones too. Not like that shit at Willy World. So you should come down and check him out sometime. Then, with a little twist of his sunglasses, I'll give you a discount. Oh, that's so kind. Iggy's eyes waver as he continues taking in the card, guilt nibbling at his toes. It's just... He swallows. It's been quite a while since I've ever ridden a bike, so I'm not really sure, you know. Genzo pauses a moment, simply looking up at him in silence, before his lips widen back into that shit-eating grin. He lets out a guffaw. Ain't that true of us all? He reaches to slap Iggy's shoulder, but hits him right in the gut instead, which expels a little gasp of air between his lips. You're a funny guy, Iggs. Don't you worry your cute little head. I've got a certain, knack for helping a gent get back on the bike, as it were. So you've got nothing to worry about. Really? Iggy's eyes widen in awe. You'll help me? Genzo reaches towards him. Seems to struggle for a moment, patting across the length of Iggy's chest and arm. Then finds Iggy's hand, lifting it up towards his lips. He takes a big whiff of the underside of Iggy's wrist with a smile. For you, my sweet-smelling morsel of warm-blooded ambrosia, anything. He plants his lips on Iggy's palm with a delicate flourish, stubble tickling his skin. Iggy's cheeks flush a brilliant pink, and he blinks in overwhelmed silence. Oh. Now then, at the moment, I do in fact have places I need to be. So you'll have to excuse me, as much as it pains me to say. Genzo splays his hands in an over-embellished shrug. Iggy shakes his head rapidly, finding it hard to do much of anything else as the blood continues to pound through his cheeks. No, it's okay. Almost as though he can hear the rapid thundering of his heart, Genzo chuckles. Don't let that blood boil too much for me now. Iggy curls the same lock of hair behind his ear again and again. Little Iggs, so cute. Alright, well, you stay safe now. Genzo tilts the edge of his sunglasses down again, and drop by any time. My door's always open. If a potentially homeless looking bum did this to you, you'd fucking cry. Not you calling Genzo potentially homeless. Come on now. I mean, listen, I kinda get what you mean, but come on, you could have been a little bit nicer about that. Listen, he's just a cool, suave guy, I promise. I think it's the stubble. Genzo is Mario-sized. Actually, I kind of forgot his height. He is short, but I don't know if he's shorter. They do have character height charts. Let me actually show that off. If I go over to the... Actually, yeah, I can show you guys real quick. No, not there. Not the image. This one? Yes, this one. Here we go. Height chart. Official, like, character stuff. So Iggy's like 5'9", 176 centimeters. Genzo is 5 feet tall. There's other characters here. Barrick, who's 6'1", and Orlam, 5'4". Now let me bring us back. Bro is tiny. Yep. My fellow short king. Glorious in all his ways. Bro is fun-sized. Oh, in all the ways that matter, probably. With a hum, he reaches for the thin cylinder of retracted metal hook to his belt loop, flicking it out into a full-length cane. Then turns on his heels, the marshmallow tip of the cane dancing back and forth across the length of the sidewalk in front of him with each step. Iggy watches him go, his eyes slowly narrowing. Wait a minute. His mind starts spinning with everything Genzo had said to him during their short conversation. The illusions that Iggy hadn't quite gotten at first. That only now are starting to click together. The blood on his lip, the strong sense of smell, the sunglasses in the dark. Genzo is... His eyes narrow further. Genzo is... You're blind? Ahead of him, Genzo abruptly trips, nearly staggering to the ground. The fuck? I thought that was pretty damn obvious. I'm sorry, I didn't know. Overwhelmed, Iggy goes running off in the opposite direction, his oxfords clapping against the sidewalk. Wait, is he blind or did the bum have a limp cane? Oh, he is, yeah. Not you calling him a bum. He is, in fact, blind. Why else do you think he's wearing sunglasses in the middle of the fucking night? What other reason? I mean, okay, maybe I shouldn't talk like that, because I have worn sunglasses at night, so pimp, not limp. Ah, I see. Because he's a jerk? Come on now, that's just stereotyping. He doesn't stop until he reaches the end of the next block, huffing and puffing as he rocks, rounds a nearby apartment building and stops to catch his breath, leaning against the brick. Because he's a sleazy jackass. That's just the same thing Knuckles said, but worse. If Carrot sees this. Sweat and shame dappled his cheeks. But when he pulls the card back out of his pocket, gazing down at the off-color paper perched between his fingers, he can't keep the small smile off his face. Bikes at the brook. He bites down on his tongue, cheek still warm. Your bikes are our delight. He clenches his eyes shut with an embarrassed squeak, quickly tucking the card back into his pocket. Maybe today hadn't been so bad after all. I said what? Ah, that's cute. Well, that's cute, actually. I like that. Little bunny and a little bat. You know, you can clip things yourself, Knuckles. That is a thing you can do. You do have the technology. Actually, technically, I could too clip myself, but I never do that. What you looking at? I almost said Jiggy. Iggy jerks back with a start, the card flying out of his hands as his backside flips inward, leading to a swift slide down the front of his computer chair and an even swifter thud on the carpet below. His legs pretzel upward and his head resting unceremoniously on the wheeled legs of his chair. He groans, his vision swimming. That was an overreaction if there ever was one. Derek whistles nonchalantly as he snatches the fluttering card out of the air. Bikes at the brook? You don't even own a bike. Iggy rolls over with a defeated slump, hands to the fresh bump on the back of his head as he attempts to crawl out from under his desk. Yeah, well, maybe I was thinking of getting one. You? Barrick's eyes brighten with a mischievous flash. The man we had to send a search party for the day the elevator broke down? It was a lot of steps. We're on the second floor. Iggy forces a chuckle, fixing the angles of his chair wheel before sitting back down. His hair must end his collar twisted. Does anybody else do that? You like actually change the way the wheels, like the legs of your chair are facing when it's like one of those ones with the wheels on it? Because I do that. I gotta make sure they're pointing, like that one leg is pointing forward so that it doesn't bump into my feet whenever I'm like just sitting normally. Motherfucker will see you have a homeless blind vampire boyfriend and said he can't afford a bike. Why do you look like you would be a character in this game? How so? How come you say that? What do you mean by this? Hey, maybe I'm a changed man. He reaches for the card. Barrick whisks it out of reach, which elicits a whine from Iggy. You see it? What do you mean you see it? How do you see it? Are you comparing me to Iggy and calling me a boy failure by extension? I'll be damned. I will be damned if I take this slander. If you're a changed man, I'm a 14-karat gold statue of Jane Claude Van Damme. Or Dom, I don't know how to pronounce that. And I'll be Van Damned before I let anyone clod my gene. What the hell does he mean by this? What does that even mean? It means that Ignatius Maxwell. It means the Ignatius Maxwell I know wouldn't be over here all morning, snoogling over such athletical aspirations as bicycular pursuits. He wraps the edge of the card right on the crown of Iggy's head. Now tell me your true intentions with this piece of cardstock or you're not getting it back. Barrick! I am? Knuckles, I'm gonna execute you. Barrack responds with a sharp-angled glare aimed straight at the round tip of Iggy's oversized nose. Iggy is forced to relent. With an awkward brush of his bangs, he drops his gaze and, in a voice as soft as cheese, mumbles. A voice as soft as cheese? Okay, now that description is a little, what's the term I want to use? Far-fetched? I don't know if that's the correct way I want to phrase that. Soft as cheese. Why does he speak like you, sorta? What does that say about you, Wiki? Bro, you can barely complete one Daggerfall dungeon in one stream. I ain't doing shit to you. Excuse you, I happen to be particularly well armed in my capabilities of physical prowess, okay? A guy gave it to me. Barrack is sitting on his desk in 1 second flat, hands perched coquettishly on his lap. Oh, do tell. There's nothing to tell. Nothing? I need details! In the 5 years we've known each other, not once have you delved into your current, nor current, amorous proclivities, but now you can't stop going googly-eyed at the business card. So I need to know everything there is to know about this gentleman that's so enraptured the inscrutable Rubik's Cube that is Iggy Maxwell's heart. Iggy feels the heat start to build in his chest, and he involuntarily begins messing with the collar of his shirt, buttoning and unbuttoning it over and over again. I met him last night. He just seems really nice. And then in a barely audible mumble, he made me feel special. Ah, special, I see. Barrack is crouched next to him now, elbow perched on the desk as he moves in closer. And what is he like? I need to know what catches those wide rabbit eyes of yours. Tall, rugged, wildly and brutally ripped to the point he could bench 5 of you over dinner? He was actually kinda short. Oh, a short king, I see. Or more really short. Uh-huh. And a little chubby. And he smelled like grease and smokes like a chimney and doesn't seem to shave. He looked a bit like he'd been sleeping out in the street all night. Iggy laughs sheepishly as the red painting his cheeks increase by leaps with every passing second. Barrack's eyes narrow in confusion. Uh-huh. He's a bum. Oh, goodness. You know, I have a feeling Barrack is thinking the exact same thing. Something gives me that impression. I don't know what, though. Well, he was just really charming, I guess. I liked how he made me feel. Iggy brings his hands together in his lap, unable to meet Barrack's gaze. No one's ever made me feel like that before. It was nice. Barrack sighs. Iggy. Then reaches up to poke Iggy's forehead with the tip of his index finger. Are you listening to yourself? You're a grade A fortified smitten. I'm not. You are, and your objections are hereby and forthwith overruled. You never question your ability to deduce shit in sad white man games. Not describing the character as a sad white man. Unable to meet his gaze, you say, Knuckles! Oh, you silly goofball. Are you just gonna grab any word that slightly sound like the word gay, and then just say, oh, gays, you say? You're a silly goofball, the two of you. Yes, you will. Fair enough. I cannot stop you, unless I decide to do something very garish about it, which I will not do. Beric slaps the business card against Iggy's forehead with where his finger had just been, making Iggy squeak. And now I assume you plan on visiting. Paying a visit to this unique-sounding man's place of business. Yes. Iggy. At this, Iggy frowns bashfully, nervously fixing his glasses. I don't know. What? Mr. Lagar, sir, there has been a problem detected in the server mesh distribution algorithm. A player is exploiting it to turn thousands and thousands of in-game meshes into giant Not now! Can't you see I'm busy with something important? Beric takes Iggy's shoulder, pulling him to his feet. Walk with me. The two of them exit the main development office, following the two-toned abstract pattern of the carpet down the hallway towards the second-floor balcony. Gay-ish. God damn it, I can't say shit in this house. Very gay Irish, you say, not gay Irish. You know, now that I think about it, I do want to hear what a gay Irishman would sound like flirting with a gay man. I don't know why, but I feel like that would sound funny. Along the way, Beric stops at the vending machine, taking a moment to key in the numbers for a can of Jack's Pumpkin Soda, Iggy's soda of choice. Jack's Pumpkin Soda. I'm not gonna lie, a pumpkin soda sounds gross as hell. There is Irish, default, and Irish, gay. Huh. Didn't know. Pressing it wordlessly into Iggy's hands before continuing on to the outer door. Ah, classic. Now, Beric turns to him once they're outside on the small balcony overlooking the downtown park, pausing for a moment as Iggy pops open the tab of soda. What is instilling this doubt within your loins, young Maxwell? Iggy takes a noisy slurp, soda fist dribbling down his shin. He sniffs, hiccups. It's just... What if he doesn't like me? Did he not give you his card? Clearly he has interest. But why? I'm nothing special. Loins? I think he said loins. Yeah, he said loins. I'm boring and drab and I've never even been in a relationship before. I don't even know what to do. Me neither. What if he's just hasn't realized that? What if he finds out the real me and scrams the heck out? Tiny tears have started to well up in the corner of Iggy's eyes. Potentially from the carbonation. Beric sighs, a soft smile forming on his lips. He places his hands on Iggy's shoulders with a comforting squeeze. First off, no. Sure, you may need to learn to leave your apartment more, but you're not boring. You can be very silly and sweet, and you always bring a smile to my face. Really? Iggy's eyes warble. Second, drab, please. Look at this chick you've got going on. You turn deaf work into rev work. Vroom vroom. Beric mimics the motion of a motorbike with his hands. What? Iggy stares up at him blankly. Yeah, me too, Iggs. Me too. Glances down at his current attire, then back up. He blinks. Beric moves on. A third, none of that even matters, because clearly this guy already saw what he wanted, or else he wouldn't have given you the card or charmed the socks off you. Beric taps down from Iggy's forehead to his nose to his shin. You may not have any relationship experience, but you've got 31 years of experience being yourself, which is all you need. And all you'll ever need if this is the right guy for you, What a sweet individual. Good pal he is, good pal. Iggy's bottom lip starts to tremble. starting as a wibbling quiver, then building into a full-blown warbling vibrato as the tears start running hot, salty rivulets down his cheeks. Barrick! He throws himself at Barrick's chest, burying his face into the taller man's shirt as he weeps freely, hiccuping pumpkin-flavored bubbles between each hitch of his throat. Barrick takes a startled step back, then returns the embrace with a knowing sigh, running his hand up and down Iggy's shuddering back. LMAO, old head? Listen, be nice. Be nice to Iggs, okay? Iggs is just a guy. He's just a little guy. He's just an emotional fellow. Yeah. Gross. It is a little gross to be burping up pumpkin-flavored soda stuff. I do agree on that front. You really think he won't think I'm too weird or something? Just a little guy, you say? Just a little gay. They won't stop. They won't stop. They're driving me fucking crazy. No, I don't. And anyone who does thinks that doesn't deserve you. Plus, I'll murder them in their sleep. Good chap. Iggy chuckles, and snot and phlegm catching in the back of his throat. Thanks, Barrick. Anytime, anywhere. A pause. Though, if you could, maybe stop pouring pumpkin soda into my shoes. Iggy blinks. Realizes he's got the can upside down with the stream of orange bubbly liquid aimed straight at Barrick's loafers. Yikes, loafers especially, aren't loafers more cloth-like? I mean, I know most shoes are cloth, but I'm pretty sure loafers are especially cloth-like. No, or am I thinking a separate, different kind of shoe? Ah, yes, the homeless blind bum vampire is gonna think you're weird. Hey, you never know. You never know. Pulls back with a snap. Sorry. Not a problem at all. I'll just change them to your... I'll just charge them to your employee account. What? Kidding. I'll charge them to Jerry's. You'll never notice. Okay, let's go back inside. It's drafty out here. Yeah, I was starting to lose feeling in my ears. That's no good. What if he wants to nibble on your ears tonight? I've known a few ear nibblers in my day. There's not gonna be any ear nibbling. And what did I say? And when did I say I was going over today? Yeah, well, that was implied. You've got to strike while the iron is hot. Or in this case, hot and bothered. Now let's go figure out what you're going to wear. I hate you so much. You need to tell me where you're going to, you need to tell me where you found this guy. I could use a roguish yet charming alley man in my life. Been going through a bit of a drought lately. Drought? Everyone's going through a drought. I've been through a drought my whole damn existence. Oh, well, that's cute. It's in one of his new sweaters and denim jackets that Barrick had. I don't know why I read the name correctly and then I paused as if I read it incorrectly. Oh, my brain. This divine mesh of things. Those ears are too big to nibble. You gotta take a chunk out of those motherfuckers. I do agree, that would be quite a lot to nibble on, but to be fair, their mouths do tend to open up quite a lot, so I do feel like they could nibble each other's ears, if they so choose. It's in one of his new sweaters and denim jackets that Barrick had described as sassy but shy that Iggy shows up at 14 East Staten Road, feeling just a tad bit sweating in a heaping load of jittery. It's a small shop nestled between a liquor store and an electrician's, quite unassuming on the outside, from its sun-bleached sign to its astroturf-sheathed front stoop, complete with doormat reading, "Come in for a really great time." That's a good one. Fair enough, ear nibbling expert. I am the nibbler. I nibble. Inside, it's no less homely. Wall to wall, sepia slathered wood paneling. I don't know what sepia is. I think it's a type of wood, most likely. Sapia. Yeah, that sounds like a type of wood. Bikes lining up a set of racks along the right-hand wall, most of them in various states of wear and tear. Metal shelves of bikes, parts, and tools with neon yellow price stickers slapped askew on their packaging. And a jangling bell, loud in the otherwise silent interior, to announce his arrival. He grimaces. So much for giving himself an easy out if he loses his nerve. Now the whole world knows he's here. What does that remind me of, like the the movie scene from Mulan? Now all of China knows you're here. Or he blinks. There's no one around. And no one appearing at the sound of his entrance either, least of all orange-capped gentlemen who had been so monopolizing his thoughts for a good part of the last 24 hours. He itches at his wrist where the sweater is starting to scratch him. Looks around. There is a register towards the back, currently unoccupied, but perhaps it will provide him with some sort of clue. So he wanders back through the aisle of velocipedal apparati, pretending to show interest in a contraption or two, just in case along the way. When he reaches the back and there's still no sign of anyone, nor any signage explaining the absence, he comes to an awkward stop. At first, just staring at the counter with his oversized button-wielding cash register. Oh, sorry, I misread that. With its oversized button-wielding cash register. Is that Braille on those labels? He's too nervy to look closer. Nervy. Then shifting his gaze to the back wall and the various ads for sale signs, flyers, and pull-off tabs for cycling lessons stapled directly onto the paneling at erratic intervals. You know, in recent times, I've only ever seen... Let's see, in the last 10 years, really, I've only ever seen one pull tab, like, flyer type thing. I suppose nobody really uses those anymore, so I suppose that makes sense that I haven't seen many of those around. Shifting his gaze. I'm just not gonna read anything Knuckles says for the next 30 minutes. There's also one of what appears to be a strip club, topped by a crudely drawn diagram of a penis. Iggy wonders if Genzo knows it's there. His eyes perk up when he makes out the sound of music drifting up from under a door to the right. Back room? Of course there's a back room. That's only logical. He's clearly not whipping out his Phillips head in the middle of the showroom. Strip club? Top? Penis? Yes. It's just there, okay? These thoughts percolating in his mind, he finds himself moving to the door without really thinking about it. And the days... God damn it. You're making my brain think of every word as gay now, Knuckles. And the fact that it's ajar only tempts his curiosity further. He pushes it softly, just enough that he can peek inside. A dim workshop meets his eyes. Dim on account of the thick curtains that appear to have been affixed over the clerestory windows on high, though lit well enough by a few bulbs buzzing overhead. Shelves and boxes line the sides, stuffed to the brim with an assortment of curiously shaped metal bric-a-brac, and a large workbench stretches the length of the back wall, boasting peg after peg of colorful tools, many of which Iggy's never seen before in his life. Which is perhaps not saying much, but feels vital enough to mention. It's a rusty, dusty atelier redolent with the aroma with the aroma of grease, gears, and wood chips, but something about it put Iggy's mind at ease. The warm intimacy of it, perhaps. A cozy nook hidden away from the bustle of city life. Or the man occupying it, who is currently swaying to the beat of the music as he sweeps up strewn bike impedimenta with sashaying flourishes about the alcove. He's getting pretty into it too. First timing each step with the song's rhythmic cadence, then spinning back, dipping the handle of the broom with a twist. All the while shaking his tush back and forth with swooping sways of his hips. Iggy brings a hand to his mouth, lips curling up into a small smile. Now Genzo starts moonwalking as he sweeps backwards, his shoes sliding across the dusty floor. With one arm, he feels at the location of his workbench, sliding the broom bristles along its bottom edge in percussive thrusts that sync with each clap of the thigh of the hi-hat. Another spin, this one taking him towards the duo of bikes currently saddled in their stands in states of half repair. He embraces the first. Embrace? World of Darkness reference? No, I'm just kidding. He embraces the first, running his fingers along almost lovingly up the frame before promptly lifting it clear off the ground, stand and all, in one single-handed swoop. Iggy's jaw drops nearly to the floor. Genzo sweeps beneath where the bike had just been sitting, looking no more encumbered than he had been 2 seconds ago before he'd had a 25-pound bike in his hand. But nothing prepares Iggy for when Genzo drops the broom entirely to lift the other bike in his opposite hand. He is a vampire? Yes, he is. Holding them both aloft as if they were no more than papier mache crafts. I almost read that as papier. Iggy's eyes widen, and he feels a warm, tingly heat rise to his cheeks, his heart quickly accelerating into rapid scataro. I think I read that wrong. He almost as though hearing this, Genzo comes to a sudden stop. And he rolls around, dropping both bikes instantly. Who the fuck is there? He storms over to the radio, slamming it off just as Iggy shuffles nervously into the room. His shoulders are curled in so low he's liable to topple right over. Sorry, the door was open, so I just... Genzo's nose twitches, and he visibly perks up. Well, damn, I'd remember that smell anywhere. If it isn't my late Nime Lothario walking his sweet, sweet sanguinary nectar into my humble shop. He brings a thumb up to smooth back the mused tussle of bang beneath his hat, adjusting his glasses with a wide grin. I should have worn my fancy apron today. Iggy laughs with an awkward flush, the sight of that stupid charming grin already jumbling his thoughts. I just thought I'd, swing by after work, since you did make that offer after all. That I did. Genzo gives his head a little shake, almost like a dog overwhelmed by its emotions. He rubs at his shin as he starts towards Iggy, though a certain salesman did not expect their solicitations to yield such promising results. Iggy begins tucking his hair behind his ear, again and again and again. It was just... you were so kind and all. Not many people, and I wasn't doing anything else, so he starts involuntarily shaking his hands. Calm down, your little heart's beating a mile a fucking minute in there. A mile a minute. Sorry, I had to think about that. Genzo chuckles gruffly, reaching up to feel for Iggy's shoulder before giving it a reassuring pat. We're just here to look at some bikes, yeah? Why don't I give you a tour of the old shop, Maybe help set that heart of yours more at ease. Genzo's hand drops to the small of Iggy's back, giving it a gentle but encouraging push. And Iggy complies easily, falling into step next to the shorter man with with a diffident okay as Genzo leads him towards the workbench. Fucking? That's confirmation. They fuck. Take whatever as you will. I'm not even gonna argue with you, with either of you, honestly. Hold on. I just gotta check on a thing or two. There we go. Alright. My nostrils, I swear to the gods. Ask about the shop. Ask about Genzo. I feel like he would ask about the shop. So, is it hard running a shop like this? I've always wondered what it'd be like to run your own business. It feels like it'd be really complicated, you know, with all the tax issues and whatnot. Ha! You're telling me, Genzo snorts. Don't even get me started. Fucking IRS breathing down my fucking neck, fucking auditing me twice. I barely even make over the fucking threshold, but no, gotta scrutinize every fucking deduction like they got a hard on them for making my life miserable. Fucking cocksucking piece of shit dirtbags. Iggy blinks, his eyes wide. I'm sorry I brought it up. Nah, a laugh. Just, let's talk about something else, shall we? What were we doing? We were... you were giving me a tour. A tour, yes, a tour. Genzo turns towards the workbench. Coughs. Well, this is where the magic happens. He runs his hand along the length of the wooden surface before turning back towards Iggy with a grin. It's a very nice table. Ain't it, though? A snicker. You know, you're starting to like this bum? Of course, the moment he starts talking smack about the IRS, of course that's the moment you start liking him. You two have a lot in common, you know? Maybe more than you thought. You ever held a torque wrench before, hun? A what? Genzo reaches towards the peg wall behind the bench, quickly feeling out 3 pegs from the right to grab a long, shiny object. Try this on for size, he says before placing it in Iggy's uncertain hands. Oh, thank you. Iggy blinks down at it, unsure what to do. The cold metal feels strange in his hands, but Genzo seems to have already moved on. He tools around Iggy's back, fingers sliding across the length of his waist before reaching for something on the other side of the bench. No one likes no one likes taxes, fuck ass. You don't know that. What about people that like crunching numbers? They could like taxes. And tax people like taxes because they make money from doing taxes. And the government likes taxes. Although I'm not sure I would call those in power people, so, gotta be careful with that one. Here's a crank extractor, he says before placing another item in Iggy's hands. Based? Is it based if it's just what everyone else is thinking? Let's be fair. Iggy fumbles slightly, but manages to grip this new contraption too. A yellow handle something, rather with a bulky black end. You need the right tools, see, to extract the right stuff. Genzo grins extra wide at this, his large canines winking at him. Oh. Based on what? Exactly, based on what? Based on Peruvian coffee. Which reminds me that I want more coffee, but I'm not gonna take some more because I'm trying to keep it to one mug a day. Although I may get up and make some tea for myself, honestly. Of course, sometimes it requires a little more persuading. Now he picks up what looks like a long hook with a chain curved beneath it, running his fingers reverently up the metal links. Iggy blinks in silence. Genzo laughs abruptly, tossing the apparatus off to the side. But you seem open to new experiences, eh? You seem quite open to new experiences, eh? I suppose so. Iggy chuckles awkwardly, still unsure what to do with the 2 tools in his hands. I did used to mix all the pops at the soda fountain. It kinda just tastes like maltodextrin, though. Genzo responds with a hum. What the hell is maltodextrin? I've not a clue, honestly. Snatching a tape measure off the bench as he tools back around Iggy's stiffened frame. He traces a finger up Iggy's back, up to his neck, then yanks the measure up from there all the way to the ground. Iggy isn't sure what to do, so he stands there politely. What's your blood type, by the way? Genzo asks as he feels for the raised tabs on the measure, clicking his tongue at whatever it is his fingers ascertain. At this, Iggy brows furrow. He's not quite sure, to be honest. Though he vaguely remembers his mom mentioning something during one of his many panic attacks at the doctor's office. He has the teensiest, tiniest fear of needles. You know what? Same. The devil who created such a thing may have done so with good intentions, but I will to the day I perish from this earth, which shall not be in a long time, spite such an individual. Negative, I think? Genzo lets the tape measure go with a snap, then the sound of it makes Iggy jump. Is there nothing not sugary sweet about you, you candy claret delicacy? The flush returns to Iggy's cheeks, and his eyes drop with a bashful laugh. I don't really... Genzo's lips curl back into that wide grin of his, and he gives the top of the workbench a little pat, shabby palm sending circlets of dust into the air. You need to dust your place. Pussy, excuse you? You're right, but damn. Though the real beauty of this inelegant asel is more suitable. With a little huff, he hoists himself up onto the thick wood, short legs dangling over the edge. He immediately grabs Iggy's hips, tugging in against his thighs. It gives us shorter gents a wonderful little boost. Iggy's cheeks are on fire now. You can feel the edge of the workbench digging into his pelvis. But more than that is the soft, possessive placency of Genzo's knees tight around his hips, and the lilting dance of Genzo's fingers as they trail up his sides. This is a nice sweater, Genzo muses as he rubs his thumb against the wool. I wanted to wear something nice, Iggy starts, before suddenly realizing what a fool he must sound like. He bites down on his lip with a grimace, but I didn't think about the fact that you can't see it. He's just asking for a masquerade breach with how much he's smiling. Are we gonna think about this in Vampire the Masquerade terms? You know what? It would be kind of fun to try and categorize Genzo into what kind of a vampire clan he'd fit into. He does seem to have charms, but that could just be because Iggy is not used to attention like this, so I'm not sure whether we could assume that would be a little vampire power of Genzo's. Genzo cocks his head to the side with a little smile. Maybe not, but I can feel it well enough. And fuck does it feel divine. His hand traces up Iggy's neck, fingers playing with the collar. Did you know that the tactile stimulations heightens your sense of taste? Now his thumbs are dipping inside the fabric, sliding against the soft skin of his throat. No, I didn't. Genzo pulls Iggy closer, rubbing his cheek and then his lips across the exposed patch of trembling skin right by his carotid. Carotid? Carotid. Hates the IRS, bruja. You know what? Maybe. Genzo isn't charming because he's a vampire. He's charming because he's gay. The gay people have a 50% boost to their personality. You know? Maybe you're right. Shit. I didn't think about that. Genzo pulls Iggy closer, rubbing his cheek and then his lips across the exposed patch of trembling skin right by his carotid. He opens his mouth, then promptly grins, pulling back with what seems to be an air of great restraint. But I'm getting ahead of myself, aren't I? I haven't even finished the grand tour. He slides off the bench with a plop and wanders away, hum on his breath. As Iggy remains frozen next to it, his hand still gripping the two tools, and his face the color of a tomato. Tomato. I don't hear those scuffling paw pads of yours. Come on! Right, Iggy hastily drops the metal gadgets back onto the wood with a clatter before shuffling after his short guide, head and cheeks still bleary with heat. Genzo has come to a stop next to two half-repaired bikes in the middle of the shop, their bi-colored blue and green frames shining in the buzzing light of the overhead bulbs. He places a hand on the grip of the left one, and giving it an approving shake. This is where the patients go. These two beauties are from a fine gent up in Windsor Falls. Just some basic tune-ups before he takes them on an autumnal retreat at the lake with the little lady. He tilts the edge of his glasses down at this, wiggling a brow. Oh, that sounds nice. Don't it though? Then after another beat, come here. Eggy pads over obediently. What a bottom. Bisexual reference? Yes, I'm just gonna say yes to everything you say. Actually, no, that's a bad idea. And once he's close enough, I almost said benzo. Like the car, is that a car brand? A benzo? I don't know what a benzo is, but... And once he's close enough, Genzo's hand finds his waist, gently guiding him downward. The two of them squat next to the blue bike. Feel it, Genzo says softly, before gingerly encasing Iggy's wrist and directing his hand towards the long, smooth frame of the bike. It's cold beneath the pads of his fingers, but with a strange sort of subdued energy, a hum of electricity just beneath the surface. That's drugs, not cars. Ah, I see. So, you know, in my long-lived life, I tend to forget things, okay? My brain mix-mashes things. Not my fault. He traces the length of the blue shaft, Genzo's fingers guiding him elegantly along, following the curves as it arcs up along the back wheel. There's a pulse to it. Genzo's voice is barely a whisper now, low and rumbling. Can you feel it? Yeah, Iggy murmurs in response, weirdly entranced by the buzz nipping at his fingertips, the way Genzo's thicker fingers curl just slightly between his. When they reach the end, Genzo tugs his hand back, gently twisting Iggy's arm so his wrist is facing upward. Shaft? Penis? You are very creative, Knuckles, very creative. He slides back the fabric of his sweater, exposing the thin, pale skin. Just like the one here, Genzo continues, dragging the tips of his fingers up and down the length of his wrist. Iggy can't seem to breathe. Utterly transfixed by the utterly transfixed by the soothing motion, perfectly in time with the pulsing beat of his heart. And when Genzo drops his head, pressing his stubbled lips against his skin and soft, gentle pecks tracing up from his palm, he starts growing incredibly warm. You have such thin skin, Genzo murmurs against his wrist. You can practically feel right through it. Thank you? Iggy is starting to squirm, finding the nubbly brushes of Genzo's stubble against his skin to be very ticklish. I wash it every day. Tips? Why is this the only thing you two can think about in this moment? You're gonna make me look bad. I wash it every day. Iggy tries his best to quell the ticklish feeling with a laugh. I wash it every day, he continues, wiggling his fingers playfully. I'm sure you do. Now Genzo traces his lips up towards Iggy's elbow, his mouth practically encasing the width of his arm as he sucks up greedily on the skin. This only makes the ticklish feeling 5 times worse. Growing and growing, until Iggy's body gives an involuntary spasm and he squeaks, jerking his arm away. But his skin had been so far up between Genzo's lips that the sudden movement pulls it across one of his sharp canines, slicing a thin gash across the surface. Oof. Ah! Iggy whimpers in spite of himself, curling his arm in towards himself to observe the damage. It's only the barest traces of a cut. A white translucent scrape across the skin with a few tiny dots of blood peeking through. Genzo's nostril visibly twitch. It's bleeding? His voice sounds just slightly hoarse. Only a little. You poor dear, I'm sorry. Genzo takes Iggy's hand and both of his, thick fingers massaging and squeezing his palm. I get a little carried away sometimes. His lips curl upward angelically. It's okay, it doesn't hurt. Iggy starts to pull his arm away, only for Genzo to grip it tighter. His voice squeaks. He coughs and drops it back its normal. He coughs and it drops back to its normal level, albeit thick with phlegm. Can I? Iggy blinks, having no clue what it is that Genzo's asking, but finding himself at too much of a loss to ask for clarification given the pleading, needy way Genzo is staring at him. And when Iggy doesn't respond, Genzo must take this as an affirmation because he leans down, pausing for just a moment to inhale the scent of his arm. It's a gay-ass visual novel. It's only natural. I suppose so, you know, I shouldn't be too surprised. Before sticking his tongue out and fully swabbing it across the length of the cut, Iggy's eyes nearly bug out of his head. Oh, he simply says, and Genzo gives a twitch, his body shuddering visibly from head to toe with a high-pitched whimper before pulling back. He laughs, scratches rapidly at his shin, laughs again. Fuck. He half squeals, half grunts, then twishes again. Okay. Iggy might be the vampire equivalent of crack right now, and I'm not sure that's good for Iggy. It's, you know, that, maybe, Wiki, what was the one clan who had to take specific kinds of blood to be satisfied? I feel like, this fellow Genzo may be leaning into that clan a little bit. Are you alright? Iggy's eyes soften in concern, to which Genzo jumps to his feet with a laugh. He pats the saddle off the nearest bike a bit too overzealously, leaning heavily on the bike stand to the point that he almost trips over. They're all rich. The Valkyrie. So no. Hey, he has his own business. You know? Maybe they're seeing, promising prosperity in Genzo. You never know. Okay, we read that one. So yeah, just giving them a little tune-up. Shoom up. Tie in some nuts, lubing up the old bearings, replacing some of the worn-down parts, spit shining them all up really pretty, like, And they'll be real beauts when they take them out. On their appetizing apple tidings. Infuse joyrides through the glorious autumn scenery. Iggy stares up at the man currently looking like he drank about 5 times his weight in espresso. He blinks, raises a finger, lowers it, raises it again. Where do you get the parts? Genzo doesn't move, and says nothing for a solid 10 seconds. So Genzo is stunned. Could be Toreador though? They like people and get obsessed? Maybe. Ay, sorry. It's very cold in here, so my nose is very stuffy. Then claps his hands together with a smile. I have go-to vendors, of course, though I also keep plenty of parts on hand so customers don't have to wait, he says with a spirited wiggle of his fingers before turning towards the back wall of shelves. He whistles softly, feeling out one of the boxes on the second half and tugging it half off. Care for a disc brake? Or maybe a saddle or two? He pulls out the parts in his question cheerily. And Iggy wanders over as he shoves that box back, only to tug out another. How about a what? How about a derailer? Good for derailing a conversation. He yanks out something that looks like a mechanical seahorse and holds it out for Iggy. Before Iggy can even think about taking it, he pulls it back, already into the third box in the row. Now here we go, extra chains. Oh, I've always had a certain fondness for the little guys, helpful as they are in wrapping things up when they just don't fall into place on their own. He turns with a long length of chain between his hands, snapping it tight. Iggy laughs. I know that feeling, like with Christmas presents, except I normally use Scotch tape. Yes, just like Christmas presents, Genzo muses, with a smile as he loops the chain first once, then twice around Iggy's wrist, tugging him in close. Wow, we're getting really gay. This is very straightforward from good old Genzo, and Iggy, in his silliness, does not understand. Bondage, precisely! Genzo is into that. Sorry, I just bundled, befuddled my brainness at the moment. I'm gonna go to the restroom and clean my nose. I'll be back in a bit. back, and I have taken some small bits of medicine so that I may not get so snotty, I guess. I don't know what I wanted to say there. I was trying to look for a word that was better and more elegant, but I could not think of one at the moment. I hurt myself. Ow. And I would not say I am sick. I just got the sniffles right now. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Although, to be fair, the matriarch herself does have a cold, and I hope it is not spreading to me. For when I usually get sick, I die. Delicious. Wait, hold on. What was the last part? Okay, here we go. Yes, just like a Christmas present, Skenzo muses with a smile as he loops the chain first once and twice around Iggy's wrist, tugging him in close. Tall, delicious Christmas presents. What type of present opener are you? I always try to open mine carefully so I can reuse the paper. It's so gosh darn expensive these days, Iggy says with a sheepish laugh. It truly is. It's a crying shame. Genzo shakes his head, swaying gently back and forth in a sort of pseudo-waltz around the small shop and taking Iggy with him. Unfortunately for my wallet, I just can't help it. I've got to rip it off. Oh. Guys, I think Iggy's dead. I think he might be dead. With this, he yanks back on the chain, sending Iggy stumbling in a dizzy circle and crash landing legs up in a pile of spare bike parts, or bike tires. A few of them go rolling away as he lets out a small groan, long limbs splayed akimbo among the corrugated rubber. And now I see you found my tires, which brings us just about to the end of my tour. Genzo meanders leisurely towards the pile, rewrapping the chain around his hands and giving it another few taut snaps. Iggy brings a hand to his head, trying to sit up among the spilled jumble of spokes and treads. But just as he manages to get up on his elbows, Genzo is lowering himself down. Uh-oh, they're gonna get freaky! He's very scrawny, so paralysis at least. A few broken bones, perhaps. Broken bones, I know how to speak, I promise. Straddling his bow-angled hips, the shorter man leans in with a nonchalant hum, stretching the chain across his shoulders. And this one's almost as long as your arm. He cocks his head with to the side, tooth poking out between his lips. Ain't that something? Iggy feels the flush return to his cheeks, finding himself altogether and wholly discomposed right now, and becoming more so with each passing second. I do have very long arms. Yes, you do. Long arms. With long, beautiful veins inside. Genzo leans in closer, pushing down on the cabin and forcing Iggy's head up at an angle. Bones? Boning? Sex? Yeah, a thing none of us here have. Am I right, guys, or am I right? You know, it's funny, because I normally don't get that hungry till the sun goes down. But being around you makes my fucking teeth ache. He brushes his lips against the bottom of Iggy's chin, a tickling nuzzle that sends a chill up and down Iggy's spine like an icy sparkler. Oh? Iggy's eyes widen, his lips trembling around the single syllable. You're hungry? You're right. Yeah. I am unfortunately correct there. Genzo's lips drop further, his breath hot against the side of Iggy's neck. Absolutely ravenous. Iggy's heart is beating like crazy now, and he clenches his eyes shut, trying to get the words out before he loses his nerve. Because this might be his only chance. This might be... Genzo hums, dances across his trachea. Would you like to come over for dinner? This is followed by a decidedly undignified squeak as Iggy bites down on his lips, his cheeks burning and his heart thundering like a locomotive in his chest. He can't believe he just did that. He's never invited a boy over to his apartment before. He's so embarrassed he could die. He cracks open his eyes to see Genzo just staring down at him, a look of conflicted confusion writ into his brow. Before that mouth of his breaks into a wide grin. He chuckles, leans back. Sure, that sounds nice. Really? Iggy's heart gives an extra buoyant jounce. Some part of him hadn't actually believed Gunzo would accept. I hope you couldn't hear my disappointment in myself in that fuck I said to myself. Hearing this turns him into a bashful mess, and his lips curl up into a goofy grin. I'll make something nice, I promise. And then a beat later. You don't have any allergies or anything, do you? He asks in a flurry. I wouldn't want you to get sick. Genzo pushes himself up to his feet, readjusting his coat and apron with a small cough before reaching his hand down for Iggy to grab. Nah, I'm easy. And then, with an impish smile that stretches from ear to ear, I'm sure anything you make will be to die for. Oh gosh, this makes Iggy flush again. He brushes his hair back and then again. Would it be best if I just text you my address? Oh, sure. What's your number? XXX95 numbers. That fuck had some extra oomph to it. My bad. Okay. There. Did you get my text? Bzz. New text message from XXX3189355. Would you like me to read it to you? Would you like me to read it for you, oh dark and mysterious immortal one? No thanks, Dougal. I'm good. Great. Now you have my number then too. So you can't find the place or something. You can just call. Yeah, that's great. Great. Now go ahead and go then. Maybe like 7? Is 7 okay? 7's great. Perfect. I can't wait. See you later. Right. Genzo's like so like, man, this isn't how this usually goes. He's like, usually I already sucked their blood by now. What the hell? Iggy scuffles off. Not stopping until he's back outside the shop, the overhead bell jangling his exit and his heart, as he pauses for a moment to calm his racing thoughts against the front window pane. Why did I almost say clam? There was no reason for my brain to tell me this word was clam. Gods above. Oh my gosh. He hides his face in his hands, dorky grin plastered across his face. His heart is still racing, and the beat of it throbbing in his head and making it hard to calm down. But when the door of the neighboring liquor store pops open and he gets an abject stare from a man carrying about 5 cases of beer, he forces himself to be normal. Fuck him, Iggy. Be happy. I don't care. It doesn't matter who stares. Lowering his arms and standing back straight as he runs a hand across his sweaty brow. Be normal, Iggy. Be normal. But it's normal to be happy about things. He lets out a long, slow breath. Then glances back at his phone. The texting interface is still open, showing his text with his address. And when he sees the number at the top, he realizes he hadn't added Genzo to his contacts yet. With a few presses, he taps it through. Genzou. Genzo. A pause. Then another tap. Heart. Genzo heart. He smiles, biting down on his lip. then glances at the clock and realizes he needs to get going if he's going to have time to run to the store and get the food started before his very important guest arrives. He pushes off from the window and starts down the sidewalk, a lilt to his step and a song in his heart. He has dinner to prepare. What a joyous lad. If you smell like a madman in public, I hate you out of reflex. Well, you just hate happy people, don't you? I'm just fucking with you. Oh, someone that I like the character of. Or not like in a... I like the character, but the character is a bit, how does I say? You guys are gonna... I don't know how much like the original this particular one is gonna be, but... You know, you'll see. Indeed, he's like, indeed, I do hate happy people. Do you have anything to say for yourself? Thank you, self, for being so fly. If I was anyone else, I would surely die. Genzo makes the sign of the cross in front of his chest. The overhead bulbs flicker, buzzing with a sudden surge of energy as the tools on the workbench pegs shudder. You blithering fool! That's the third time this year I've had to clean up after you. I had to send Jerry, for God's sake, man. Aw, but he loves it. Being your little lapdog turns him on. How many times must I repeat it to get it through your thick skull that there are matters of etiquette we must follow? You cannot simply feed in a dark alleyway. What do you think this is, the Dark Ages? I was fucking starving. I had it in for 2 fucking months. You're turning me into the laughingstock of the city. I have a reputation to uphold. 4 fleshlings I've sired, but you're the only one who has to make trouble. As the younglings say, get with the program. Well, sorry, I don't have your hoity-toity come hither allure, Mr. Shag-Me-Not, but it's fucking hard for me. My negative 100 in charisma makes Her Royal Highness's alley snacks the only option for me sometimes. Oh, my poor sweet little baby. The man cuffs Genzo's chin with an affectionate coo. It's hard, isn't it, luring meals yourself? He gives Genzo's shin a scritch, and Genzo responds with a whine, nodding his head up and down. You wanna come back, don't you? Back when I would give you little treats I caught myself? And you could just sleep and play like a good little puppy enjoying your snack rooms, Genzo knocks his head more vigorously, his tongue poking out between his teeth. Yes, just a sweet little fleshling, too helpless and feeble to go out and go get your own food. No. Now Genzo shakes his head, letting out another whine as he starts pawing at the air. The man rubs his thumb sweetly against the side of Genzo's cheek, before hooking it under his left canine and jerking upward, twisting his head back painfully and making Genzo yelp in pain. You're not a fleshling anymore, so stop acting like one, you overgrown Chiroptera. Figure out how to feed properly or I'm sending you to the throne until you can stop embarrassing me for 5 minutes. What about 3 minutes? The man groans, the energy of it making the whole shop shake. The bulbs overhead flicker and bounce with erratic crackles until one of them snaps completely, while the torque wrench benched on the workbench clatters to the floor. He whirls back, eyes flashing, before he lets out a sigh of great restraint, smoothing down the mused front of his sports coat. You make me want to broil in the sun sometimes. Hey, I'm working on it. I got a new one with enough to last me the better part of a month if I can bag it. Genzo snorts and brings a cigarette to his lips, lighting it with an irate flick. Then I trust we should have no more mishaps. A grunt. Genzo blows out a long trail of smoke. There's a gala this weekend. You will attend? Fuck. That better have been a mispronounced yes, or you'll be going tongueless for the eve. I have obligations, you know. People expect a certain image, and that means presenting my full blood at all social events. Yeah, Genso sniffs. huffs out a cloud of smoke. And then we shall speak then, and I hope to hear good news for once. So excited I'm about to piss my pants. Oh, okay, that's a little bad. Even the little hair he has goes into like a little tail looking thing. No mishaps. Adorable. I give you a fucking mishap. Genzo grumbles and turns back to his broom, smoke drifting reproachfully overhead as he gets back to his cleaning. Oh, hell nah, Iggy, leave his ass. He's a puppy boy. That is definitely different from the canonical, I guess, version of those two characters who very much do not like each other. I wasn't expecting that. I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't expecting that. Making steaks, making steaks. Ah! Why is he screaming? Iggy hurls the flaming pan like a shuttlecock inferno. Blaze licking the crisp autumn sky as it torpedoes across the lawn of the apartment complex before plummeting straight into the pool with a colossal sizzling eruption of algae murked water. Nasty. Oh gosh. Iggy watches the steam warble in the air above the pond, brows furrowed. The zesty, carcinogenic tang of oil and burnt meat gristled smolders in the air. He returns inside. Poor boy. Cannot cook a steak for the life of him. Not making steaks. He's so sad. Lips tight, he stares down at the chaotic he's got little cuts on his fingers, poor the guy. He stares down at the chaotic mess at his kitchen counter, finding himself a bit at a loss. I know what to make. He begins pursuing his cupboards for ingredients. Perusing his cupboards for ingredients, pulls out a box of powdered mashed potatoes. Hamburger pie it is. Zesty? Gay? You just can't help yourselves. 30 minutes later, and he's got a bubbling soup of meat, beans, and mushrooms going in his electric saucepan, and has only injured himself twice more in the process. By this point, however, he hasn't realized how late it's gotten, and just as he takes a break to catch his breath, his front buzzer goes off. Gah! His eyes jump to the flashing numbers on his microwave. 16:29. It's 16 o'clock? It's 16 o'clock? Wait. He presses the stop timer button. 7 p.m. His heart leaps into his voice box. Crap! Just a second, he calls out with an anxious crackle of phlegm as he proceeds to experience 1,000 lives and 1,000 deaths in the span of 0.15 milliseconds. He glances down at the state of his attire. Residual bits of gristle and spatters of condensed tomato soup dot his sweater and jeans like alien constellations. He grimaces. He's a mess. His kitchen's a mess. And he didn't finish cleaning up the rest of his apartment either. He wanders out into the living area. Stands there a moment, then fixes one of the pillows that's askew on his sofa. He's got a nice place, honestly. He heads for the front door. Look who's there. Let me eat another one of my cookies. You're hearing more boy failure shit. You never question your ability to read people from first glance. Yes, sir. The drawing is done. Is it now? I assume you've posted it somewhere? You have. Ah, wizard lady and the one and only in the upper right. Looking good. Looking very good. Yes. Dagoth woman Dagoth Never thought I'd see the day that Dagoth gets made to be a woman. I mean, Dagoth is already a nice piece of meat, let alone, you know. As is, he's already a nice slab of meat, you know? It's with a shit-eating grin that Genzo greets him on the other side of his front door. Also, a sardonic tap of the wrist. And here I thought you were just gonna leave me out here. Sorry, I lost track of time. I had a little problem with the stove. Is that the pungent odor of burnt oil simmering on a fine fillet of pond mildew tweaking my nose hairs, or did you get yourself all buttered up and bastard from me, you incorrigible charmer, you? Neither. I think the neighbor must have be having one of their grill outs. And they're always doing this and that, you know, the neighbors. Iggy wrings his hands together with a laugh. Once it dies down, they both go silent, just standing in the doorway. After a good 15 seconds, Genzo chuckles, scratches his shin. So, can I come in? Don't let him. No. What? Why would we choose no? And the evil wizard is Jagar Tharn, the villain from the first game. Oh. Jagger. JT. So, I don't know why I'm like saying it in different ways. JT. Well, since we are playing as no self-preservation Iggy, we may as well let him in. Auto forward. I forgot we can save technically. I mean, there's no point because we are going to be finishing this up in like one go. Oh! Iggy snaps out of his awkward stupor with a little jolt. Of course, sorry about that. He holds the door open, allowing Genzo to stroll inside. He watches as the shorter man slips off his shoes as though by habit on the front mat. I think all the fumes had gotten to my head, he chuckles sheepishly. Fumes? Did I say fumes? I meant, legumes. Ha! I hear that. Beans the magical fruit. The more you eat, the more you... So, did you have any trouble finding the place? Nah, old Dougal pulled through. Damn remarkable what technology can do nowadays, ain't it? Even told me exactly how many minutes the bus would be delayed. And that is pretty helpful. What bus, was the bus crowded? I wouldn't know, I rode on top. Fuckers don't let animals on. Iggy blinks. Genzo breaks out into a laugh. That was a joke. Oh! Another beat of silence. Then Genzo reaches up to slide his glasses off. Iggy's brows arc. Huh? Genzo immediately blankers. What? You've got a fucking problem? No, He drops his gaze, clasping and unclasping his hands. You have very beautiful eyes. This seems to silence Genzo, but only for about 5 seconds. Then he got a finger up, brows furrowed in irritation as he pokes empathically in Iggy's direction. Enough with that shit right now. He grumbles and turns away, arms folded over his chest. He's got a little blush on his cheeks, look at him. Drops his gaze, you say? Into the wood chipper, into the abominable snowman's lair. into 6 men. I don't know where I was going with that last one, I'm not gonna lie. Men, you say? Yes. I'm going to send you into 6 men and leave you there. No lube. For 6 hours. Though Iggy can't help but notice the slight touch of pink on his cheeks. Sorry, Iggy chuckles. Pauses. Looks around the room. He's unsure what's supposed to happen next. Then he remembers his visit to Genzo's shop and his smile returns. Would you like a tour? I can show you where everything is. A tour of the old Glad Pad. I wouldn't say no to that. Genzo's lips curl upward, which helps to give Iggy a spark of reassurance. He grins to himself, willing his built-in hospitality modus to win out over his awkward fumbling. No lube, that's just cruel. The gay sex is real. It is real. We love it. And yes, I said we. All of us. So, we're in the living room right now. He pauses for a moment, trying to think about what would be helpful to describe. There's a couch, and a TV, and I'll make it sound too enticing now. And a table! Classic. Iggy moves on, shuffling off towards the kitchen. I tried to do a bit of cleaning, so hopefully there isn't anything in your way. A thoughtful host! I like that. Iggy flushes, then pats the nearby doorframe. Inside here is the kitchen. You're of course welcome to get any snacks and drinks. A grunt. He washes as Genzo wanders after him, feeling out some of the furniture landmarks along the way. Then, if you keep following this wall back, there's 2 more doors. The 2 of them head back, and Iggy once again pats the 2 door frames. This one on the left is the bathroom in case you need it, and my bedroom is on the right. Genzo tucks his thumb into his belt loops, brows arched. Bedroom, eh? You move quick. I only just got here. Iggy's blood bubbles into a heated froth. I was just letting you know where everything is. I didn't want you to feel lost. Every single nerve inside his body feels like it's been spared with dynamite. Or speared. Speared with dynamite. Genzo just chuckles. Nah, you're being real sweet. I know you'll be waiting till after dinner to seduce me, you champ. He hums and shuffles off, leaving Iggy standing wide-eyed and overwrought in the corridor. Across the room, Genzo finishes his trek, tracing his hand up and along the backside and arm of the sofa before settling down on the cushions. He spreads his arms and legs with a satisfied sigh. Hey, you got some nice digs, Iggs. He pauses, starts snorting. Digs, Iggs, he says again, clearly tickled. Iggy follows after him, fidgeting awkwardly with the sleeves of his sweater. Why does he feel like this, like some kind of alien life form trying to copy human behavior? How do other people just know how to act or what to say in these types of situations? Experience. His brain is as helpful as a bumpy log. Tucking his hair back behind his ear with a small laugh, he shuffles towards the speakers by his television. He clicks them on and pulls out his phone. How about some music? I love music. Play me some music. Another laugh. He scrolls through his playlist, then decides on one of his more basic electro swing collections. Electro swing. My boy got that mega autism. He's a bit, not used to going out, let alone having people. I'm pretty sure most of his social interactions is probably work, and that's about it. A safer bet, no doubt, than his video game scores or his jams about cannibalism and neurological disorders. Reminds me of Yuki a little bit. There's specific songs I'm thinking about too, so I know what the hell is what the hell they're talking about. Less likely to weird Genzo out. Once the jaunty beat starts floating out from the soft shell casings, giving him a bit of a much needed white noise, he sits down politely on the other end of the couch. It's okay. The apartment, I mean. He continues the earlier conversation as though there hadn't just been an awkward music break. It has everything I need, at least, though they keep upping my rent every year. Genzo's nose twitches and he sits up a bit. Now that he's sans glasses... What? Now that he's sans glasses? Iggy can see the little amused glint in his eye. What? You're like a spooked rabbit or something. Then, come here. He pats the cushion between his thighs. I don't bite. A pause. Too hard. Sans. Sans? Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what Carrot meant by that. He said sans. I know he said sans. I understand. I don't know what sans means. Is there a definition for sans? Hold on. I gotta know. I must know. Because Carrot has a tendency to use words without deprived or destitute of. Rarely used in an English word. Without or lacking. Okay, so quite literally lacking the sunglasses because he took them off. Okay, that actually makes sense then. Sans is like without? Oh, yep, there we go. You guys have already typed it into the chat and I just out here I'm searching for the damn word. That's why some fonts have sans in the name, like sans serif means serif without serifs. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I grow knowledgeable by the eon. Oh, okay. Iggy scooches over obediently, until he's sitting between Genzo's spread legs. Genzo reaches around to tuck him still closer, hands on Iggy's hips, and Iggy can feel the heat lap at his cheeks again. No one's ever held him like this before. He doesn't know where to put his own hand, so he clasps his bandaged fingers cordially in his lap. You're so cute. Thank you. He drops his gaze, finding it hard to look Genzo in the eye. Can I? Huh? Then back up to see Genzo with his hands up, fingers curling in and around and out. Oh, he simply says, which Genzo must take as approval because his hands goes to Iggy's cheeks, palms warm and just a little sweaty against his skin. Then his thumbs start tracing across Iggy's brow. First following the curve of his eyebrows, then down the bridge of his nose. No, you wear glasses. Iggy is finding it hard to generate a response to this, so he simply says, yes. Feels like I should have guessed that. You've got the vibe. Oh. Genzo hums in bemused contemplation, thumbs moving upward now to chart Iggy's hairline. Unlike me, he's not balding. Which serif are those little fancy ass lines at the end of fancy letters? So no fanciness. Gotcha. What you wouldn't do. Wouldn't do for what? To be in between a guy's like legs? Is that what you're referring to, Wiki? In gentle massaging circles, they slide across his temples, the motion of it wonderfully calm and soothing. Close your eyes. Iggy does so without thinking, lulled by those soft, kneading thumb pads and the sparkly shows of pleasure they are sending all up and along his scalp. You're so fucking tense all the time. You can just relax. See that? Now that little heart of yours is beating nice and easy like. You can feel Genzo shift against him. Pressure. Something pressed against his shoulder. Then his throat. Uh-oh, he's trying to go in for the bite. A nibbling prick against his ear. His eyes pop open. Shuddered gasp between his lips. Genzo's got the edge of his ear between his lips and is giving it a soft little nips between his front teeth. What if he wants to nibble on your ears? Barrick's words from earlier flitting across his thoughts. He lets out a nervous giggle. A tri-rocket combination of situation loosened the nerves and ticklish nippings against his earlobe coaxes it from his lips before he can stop it. It was referring to being held, but the bit passed. I took too long. My bad. My bad, G. My bad that I have to, read. A hum from Genzo. You like that? He feels Genzo's lips curl into a smile against his skin. Before his mouth traces downward and he presses his tongue flat against his carotid, giving it a long, slow lick up the side of his neck. This makes Iggy squeak and he giggles again. It's very squirmy. Squirmy. A puff of laughter. Yes, very squirmy. Before the lips part, sucking on his skin and making him spasm even more. We're just getting freaky here, huh? Just a squirmy little worm with two pokey little harmless antennae. I don't think worms have antennae. Iggy bites down on his lip with just another laugh. His whole body's starting to writhe and twist. That's silly. Worms don't have antennae. He lets out another squeak, barely managing to hold it together. At this point that his foible from his back in Genso's shop rushes back to him like hot lime wire. When he'd stupidly injured himself and made things all awkward. All because he can't act normal. Shame floods his cheeks. And he can't let that happen again. He has to be normal. He has to. Buddy, you're thinking about this a little too hard. It's just a tad bit too hard, but that's Iggy for you. Okay, options here. I feel like either one of these options can go very wrong. One can go more wrong than the other. Oh, goodness. Hey, can you guys choose for me? I don't feel like choosing anymore. Knee him now. Roger that. We're gonna knee him in the nuts. He'll like it, trust. You sure? You sure about that? We'll see. Why is that an option? Why is this an option? He's a dog. He's a what? He's a dog? Yeah, kinda. I really hope this doesn't go too wrong. If there were anyone in the world capable of explaining what goes through Iggy's head at that exact moment, that person would be a middling visual novel writer, gleefully injecting pain upon their characters. Unfortunately, this person does not exist, only Iggy, and Iggy's knee. As he rams it straight upward with such untempered velocity that it invokes a visceral sort of squelch upon impact with Genzo's gonads. Genzo's face goes white. Blue. A clammy veil of sweat breaking out across his cheeks, followed by a shrill creaking noise that at first Iggy attributes to his bedroom door. It's always making strange sounds, but then quickly realizes it's coming from Genzo's throat. A helium-esque forced vibrato that follows Genzo as he tips stiff-backed over the side of the couch and plummets to the floor. Bro, you castrated him. Excuse me? Iggy castrated him. I am just a humble witness to, what is going on. I said knee him, not crush them. Hey, hey, that's not on me, alright? His penis blood on your his penis blood is in your hands. Listen. It's actually on Iggy's knee, mind you. Crap! Iggy is up in a hurry, flipping his hands with increasingly violent cracks of his wrist. That had perhaps not been the best course of action he could have taken at that moment. He dashes to the kitchen, mind running a mile a minute, then has an idea and snatches a bag of frozen peas from his icebox. He dashes back. Here, he brings the ice-crusted bag down on Genzo's nether regions. A bit too hard at first, actually, which makes Genzo erp, but then seems to calm his sum. After a few awkward minutes of holding peas against another man's dick, Iggy sees Genzo's face start to return to its normal color. A cough, followed by a groan. What the fuck was that? Genzo's voice crackles with phlegm. Sorry. Iggy feels his stomach lining start to bubble and pop. He swallows nervously. I think it was just a reflex. You need guys in their nads? As a reflex? Genzo grumbles grow like a geyser ready to pop. I think I just have a very sensitive neck. Genzo groans again, a low throaty tremor as he manages to push himself up to a seat. He takes the pea bag from Iggy, shoving it straight down his pants and with a sigh. Iggy makes a note to throw those peas away. I'm really sorry, he says again as a curdling froth of shame builds up in his belly. Genzo forces a smile, laughs. Don't sweat it. Pea dick. Understandable crash out. Heavens, listen, you guys chose this, okay? He scratches beneath his cap, fingers still shaking slightly. What would my life be without a few surprises, eh? Yeah, surprises. Glad I ain't never planned on procreating. A sudden bubbly pop reaches Iggy's ears, followed by a hiss from the kitchen. My hamburger pie! He's up in a flurry. Next song on his playlist starting as he stumbles to the kitchen. You knew he'd like it? See, he's fine. Nah, this is on you. You pressed the button. I didn't make the choice. You guys did. Only to find that the saucepan with his tomato-based concoction currently bubbling up and over the edges as an off-color burnt bean smell fills the air. Gah! He quickly turns down the heat, grabbing his wooden spoon and attempting to stir it back into subservience. Everything okay in there? He hears Genzo ask from the other room. Oh yes, it's fine, he responds cheerily, before grimacing. Hopefully it will be alright. It's probably more than ready to transfer, so he pulls out his casserole dish from the cupboard, ladling over big steaming spoonfuls of meat mush. Once finished, he grabs the bowl of instant mashed potatoes he'd readied and starts scooping it carefully on top. The fluffy yellow dollops plop on the red mixture like ice cream. Plop, swirl, plop, swirl. Scoop by scoop, he coats the pottage in potatoey goodness of frosting for his pie. He gets so into it, in fact, that he doesn't even hear Genzo slipping into the kitchen behind him. Oh, sorry, clicked the wrong button. Nor his clandestine approach. Not until Genzo's arms are curled around his midsection and his belly is flush with his backside. Which makes Iggy's body jolt in surprise. Something smells good, Genzo murmurs, breathing against the small of his back. Does it? That's good. A half-hearted chuckle. It's got a little burnt. It's okay. Now Genzo's whole face is pressed against his back. Iggy can feel his breath, hot and damp, through the fabric of his sweater. I don't mind it a little spicy. At this, his hand slides up Iggy's waist, just beneath his sweater and tugging him back slightly. It won't be spicy, there are no chilies, Iggy muses good-naturedly. Then lets out a giggle of surprise as Genzo starts to slowly rock him side to side. A gentle, lilting motion that makes him weak at the knees. Almost like how Luigi lulled the Goombas into dancing during the elevator scene in the 1999 smash hit live-action motion picture Super Mario Bros. Starring Dennis Hopper. What is this random-ass reference? White male. Listen, you can't blame the guy. Based? I was gonna say, Knuckles would like that one. Oh. What option do we go for, guys? I kind of feel like I want to go for do you want to taste, but no spice? Excuse me, just because it's not spicy doesn't mean it doesn't have spices. You Nimrod. Ooh, we actually have a 50-50 split here. You know what that means? It's been a long time due since I flipped the coin. So heads for taste, tails for dance. I'm actually worried I'm not gonna catch it. Well, I did catch it. Heads. So, what did I say heads was again? I genuinely forgot. Taste, right? Because that was the first... Okay. There we go. Taste. Do you want to taste? Oh, do you want to taste? Iggy brightens. He feels a snicker against his back, the slow tinge of Genzo's mouth running up and down his spine. Oh yes, I would love a taste. Iggy humps and scoops a small dollop of pie into his wooden spoon. He whirls around. Here you... The spoon smacks Genzo right in the side of the head. A veritable whister poop that echoes off his skull with a dull thwack and sends Genzo pistoning straight to the off-color linoleum. That is a word, linoleum. The ignoramus forgot that he is... The ignoramus forgot what he established? Yes, I did. I'm a very forgetful little entity, okay? The resulting smack can be heard for miles, or at least approximately 2 apartments over. Genzo whines, rolling onto his back with a defeated flop. I'm sorry, Iggy squawks and promptly throws the spoon into the air. It whacks up against the wall, sending sprayed bits of potato and tomato across the kitchen. He kneels down next to Genzo, hands twisting fretfully back and forth. Are you okay? Genzo groans. Ugh. He pushes himself up. He presses a hand to his cheek with a grimace. I only lost half my brain all over the tile, but yeah, never been better. Iggy's lips pull back in shame, in a shamed grimace. I'm so sorry. He spots a trickle of red leaking from Genzo's lips. Then jumps up with a gasp. You're bleeding! He quickly nabs a washcloth, wetting it in the sink before returning to press it against Genzo's mouth. This must startle Genzo because he jerks back, grabs the cloth from Iggy's hand instead. Yeah, I can do it, he grumbles, and holds the rag against his lip. This entire date is going just bad. Okay, Iggy feels his heart fall into a gut. Chagrin nipping at his toes. You're really trying to do me in, aren't you? Genzo says with a sardonic laugh. First the assault on the goods, now your attempt to blunt force trauma. As some kind of test, only the survivors make it to your gilded sheets. Not that they'd have any fucking tools left to work with. Iggy's chest grows tighter and tighter, a cold wave of anxiety sweeping up through him. I'm really sorry. I don't know what's gotten into me today. I'm just having a clumsy spell or something. Yeah, remind me never to be around you when you're holding something sharp. Yeah. At this point, Iggy is the predator serial killer sadist. Well, maybe due to circumstance less than his own will. An awkward silence settles over them as Genzo continues to pat at his lip. Before the next song comes on, a bright and cheery bop that breaks the mood. Genzo's nose twitches. He forces a smile. Laughs. Hey! No harm, no foul. Am I right or am I right? But you were harmed. Nothing a little mouth-watering meal can't solve. His eyes glint mischievously, and I ain't talking about them pie you've got on the stove. Iggy blinks, then flushes, his face heating up like a subatomic particle generator. Oh. This reminds him that he still needs to finish getting dinner ready, so he pushes back up to his feast with a little wobble. The pie at least is almost done though. I just need to finish the potatoes and melt the cheese on top. I want to wait on the couch? I'll bring it out when it's done. Genzo hoists himself up with a little grunt. Alright, whatever you say. Though his words are accompanied by a strangled little hint of amusement that Iggy can't quite place. He hands Iggy the washcloth back before wandering off toward the living room. Say Gex. Gex? There you go. Are you pleased? How will Iggy assault the bomb this time? I am unsure, but something's bound to happen. Iggy lets out a sigh of relief, glad at least that Genzo still seems in an okay mood and hasn't left in a storming rage yet. Tossing the rag straight into the trash, he turns back towards the counter to finish up his work on the casserole. Once the potatoes have been adequately spread, he sprinkles an entire bag of cheddar cheese over the top. Carefully adjusting the scattered orange curls, he pokes off his fingers before placing it in the oven. Perfect. Now for the drinks. He stashes the bottle of wine from the grocery bag on the counter, giving its label a satisfied tap with his finger. A $7.99 Cab Sav. He'd spare no expense. With only a bit of trouble and about half the cork left in the bottle, he pours 2 full glasses. I do hate those corks, Can we kill him? I don't believe so. Knuckles, I do not believe so. I would think that would be hard to do anyhow, considering he's a vampire, and I think about the only way you could do that would be with the sunlight, most likely. Feeling just a bit classy, he totes them proudly out to the living room. Want some wine? Oh. You got any beer? I got this specifically for tonight. Oh no. Wine's fine. Wine's great. Genzo tugs at the collar of his sweater as Iggy cheerily places the glasses on the table. I'll be right back, and it should be almost done. 5 minutes later, and the steaming hot hamburger pie is centerpiece on his coffee table with 2 heaping platefuls stationed nearby on either side. I hope you'll like it. My parents used to make this all the time for me. Though I've changed a bit in the recipe for my version, Iggy explains with a proud yet slightly anxious twitch of his brow. Yeah, smells like a dream. I love it already. Iggy flushes, laughs, downs half his glass of wine, then begins to eat. The room goes quiet, save the music still drifting through the speakers. Nothing but the sound of cutlery on ceramic, the occasional slurp, the visceral mastification of bean and beef slop mounded between molars. Iggy watches Genzo eat. His face is blank, relaying nothing about his current level of satisfaction with the food and service. Maybe he should say something? The silence feels unsettling. If the date were going well, certainly the conversation would be flowing like water, yes? That is the impression he's gleaned from the many motion pictures he's viewed. Of course, in Iggy's mind, a movie would be called a motion picture. Okay. and thusly it must be on account of his own social incompetence. He should fix this by presenting a topic of conversation. Now, so far, the bottom options have not been great. I'm just gonna say work, you know? Don't ask about games, he's blind. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He's kind of blind, so I don't know if he would like to talk about video games. Talk about work, you know? Work seems like a safe topic. However, seeing as he already knows a good deal about Genzo's work, it would make more sense to discuss his own. I like the face he's making. He's like very strategic about it. But how does one bring up themselves without looking like a narcissist? A conundrum indeed. He muses upon this puzzle for a good minute more, finding himself no closer to an answer, but getting closer and closer to a breakdown. Oh no, Iggy, relax. So finally, without context or preface, he simply states, "So I'm a developer." Oh. Genzo raises his head from his gourmandarizing brow arced. Like, computers and shit? Genzo hums, "Look at you, Mr. Technology. I should be asking you all my stupid questions about how to make my fucking phone do what I want." Which, at the moment, is to stop blasting out my eardrums with 5,000 decibel ads every time I click on a fucking app. If I hear that guy shout, "What a taste! What a chicken!" one more time, I'm gonna go fucking ballistic. Iggy blinks. "Oh, I'm sorry about that. I'm not a... That's not really the kind of developer I am," he chuckles sheepishly. "Yeah, well, fuck. What are you good for then?" Silence. Iggy finds himself unsure how to respond, until Genzo laughs, a hint of awkwardness in the way his brows twist. That was, a joke. "Oh, of course." Silence again. Okay, so you don't fuck with phones. Well, what do you do then?" I'm a back-end Ruby on Rails developer. I work for a company that makes MMOs. Ruby on Rails, what is this? The scene after a Steam engine hit and run? Oh no, it refers to the programming language Ruby, and Rails is the framework that lets Ruby go many places it couldn't before, so you can say it's on Rails. Fascinating. I don't know, I think I like my version better. Or how about, I'd like to get my Ruby on your Rails tonight, eh? That's not what it means. Is that Ruby on your Rails, or are you just happy to see me? Sheesh, I was only having a little fun, no need to get all damp hamper. Oh, sorry, Iggy's gaze falls, and he feels the shame start to bubble up in his gut again. I guess I've gotten made fun of a lot for the stuff I do, so sometimes I take things a bit too hard. Genzo blinks at him, and Iggy can see his face soften. Nah, sorry, it's whatever. I was just being stupid. Iggy's unsure how to respond and feeling awkward to boot, so he returns to his meal in silence. Ay. The gaze soften? Iggy gaze falls? You keep doing this. You can't keep getting away with this, Knuckles. You cannot keep getting away with this. I will tie your fingers together and then chop them off as payment for your transgressions upon me. My nose is still fighting me, and it's pissing me off. You will keep getting away with this, sack boy. Not sack boy again. I don't like being called sack boy. Genzo too, both of them scooping up spoonfuls of beef and potatoes with careful precision and bringing them to their mouths. I would like some. It looks tasty. This continues for the rest of dinner, with a few scattered bits of conversation along the way. A big old stone has joined the pie in Iggy's gut, and that could have gone better. Hopefully, one quiet dinner hasn't dampened the mood too much, though. Even if his auto-catastrophizing brain is insisting he's completely ruined everything. He glances over to see Genzo finishing up his glass of wine with a burp. When he speaks, there's something just slightly different than before. A careful hesitation to it, though Iggy's not sure what it means, or if he's just imagining it. Yo, you fine if I step outside for a smoke? Genzo scratches beneath his shin, gaze pointed off toward the far corner. Oh, of course, it's not a problem. It's no problem. I need to clean things up anyway. Genzo gets up with a little hum, reaching for the carton in his pocket as he feels his way toward the door. Meanwhile, Iggs begins tidying up the dinner paraphernalia. First, carting away the plates and silverware, then hauling the half-eaten dish of hamburger pie back into the kitchen. Hamburger pie. I want hamburger pie. Why did my right ear just start going ee? Like that fucking... Okay. It's gone now. I don't know what that was all about. Yeah. I don't like that. A burger. He sets to work quickly, rinsing off the ceramic to load into the dishwasher and packing up the leftovers into a Tupperware. Then it's a few swift swipes with his flour sack towel to rid the living room table of crumbs and stray beef dollops, followed by a soak of the empty wine bottle, wanting to rid of it any residue and cork bits before dropping it into the recycle later. Oh, that's very nice. Exactly like that, Wiki, exactly like that. When finally he's satisfied with the state of his apartment, at least in regards to after dinner's carrot, come on. Ablutions. He tosses a glance at the clock. 11:24. Oh gosh, it's that late already? He tucks his hair behind his ear, blinking, then turns back towards the living room. And there's no sign of Genzo yet, which Iggy finds a trifle bit odd. That sounds very British for some reason, I don't know. But not so much as to give it more than a passing thought. Though this does give him yet another time to stew. More time to stew. Where did I get another from? And given his penchant for catastrophizing when his brain starts to stew, he decides to further occupy himself with tasks. Yes, the trash can be taken out. A pungent odor meets his nostrils as he yanks the white plastic out the bin beneath his sink. It turns his stomach, and he quickly snaps the red ties closed at the top of to cork the smell. Then, tossing it over his shoulder, he heads outside. Genzo is nowhere to be found. Oddity number 2. He narrows his eyes against the dark, peering this way and that about the apartment complex as he makes the trek to the dumpster. Strange. Strange. With a small oomph, he throws open the dumpster lid and tosses the trash inside, wipes his hands. The lamp post a few yards over is buzzing and flickering in the dark, making the tall shadows dance and twist across the sidewalk. Ominous. Iggy watches all of this, lips pressed together. He can feel his heart accelerate over ever so slightly, a building drone humming against his ribs. Apartment complex? You find it quite simple. I don't know what to do with you. I'm just gonna pretend he didn't say that, you know? Just gonna pretend. I'm gonna obfuscate that from my mind's memory. He begins to walk back, gaze flicking left, right, left, anxious prickles running up and down his spine. The very air itself seems heavier, like a weighted blanket damping the dark. He manages back. He makes it back to his apartment without fanfare. Clicks the door open. No, only what he fails to realize until he stepped inside is just how much darker it's become. Oh, and when he shuts the door behind him, he immediately finds himself encased in black. Uh-oh. Gaze flicking? I got not a clue what that could mean. Oh, he says simply, blinking his eyes against the dark. Why are the lights off? He reaches towards where he knows the switch by the door is, fingers groping the drywall. When he finds it, he gives it a few clicks. Up, down, up. Nothing. The lights stay off. He clicks it a few more times for good measure before attempting to bumble his way further into the room. Genzo? His voice seems stark and hollow in the dark, and he can feel the panic starting to build up once more in his gut. He rams into something and lets out a yelp. Feels for it. His couch. He tries to move towards the kitchen, thinking he'll attempt the light next. But along the way, he collides with the cupboard where he keeps his shoes and winter habiliments, sharp pain shooting up through his knee. Ow. Gosh darn it. Genzo, he tries again, hand out and groping for the wall. The sound of movement from behind him. He straightens, hairs on the back of his neck curling into erect points. Uh-oh. Engazed in black? Now that's a stretch, alright? That's a stretch. Then turns. Another whoosh, this time from his other side. Genzo? He swallows hard, knobby joints starting to quake. Erect, you say? 1 foot forward. He tries again to move towards where he believes the kitchen is, an ice-cold chill spreading across his skin. Only something impedes his forward momentum. Catching his foot, it sends him stumbling towards the ground. But before his frame can hit the carpet, he finds himself enfolded in a pair of thick arms. Gently almost. Lovingly almost. He is lowered softly, head cradled like a priceless heirloom. And when he looks up, he lets out a soft gasp as the two red eyes gazing down at him. Trouble finding your way? A chuckle, and Iggy can just make out the glint of teeth in the scarlet luminescence. His heart starts to thump in his chest, the eyes trembling. Very vampire-y song in the background there. Yeah, it's a stretch like foreskin. Gross. Genzo's head cocks first one way, then the next. I'm actually sorry it has to be this way. I have been hoping to make it a bit more pleasant for both of us. Wait, Genzo is... Iggy's entire body is quaking now, his breath coming out in quick, frightened gasps. But you sure did make things difficult, didn't you? Or maybe I just fucking suck at this. I don't know. Genzo lowers his head towards Iggy's neck, rubbing his face against the clammy skin. Iggy can't seem to move. Every nerve in his body froze in place. Genzo is... Then he feels those canines. Sharp tips running up and down the length of his throat, leaving trails of some sort of fluid, hot and tingly. But, Genzo hums, a puff of warm air against his skin. A guy's gotta eat, even if it's soured, so you'll have to forgive me. Genzo is... And then those teeth press down and sink into his neck. Iggy's body gives a jerk, his eyes tilting back. As he feels the blood being pulled up and through the holes, Genzo slips, sucking it out of him in desperate, hungry squelches. His head is going hazy. Suddenly everything makes so much sense. He'd laugh at himself if he could. But unfortunately, he won't ever laugh again, because Genzo is a vampire. Unfortunately, Iggy was blood-sucked, which means game over. However, you can always try again. Do note that to continue the story, you'll need to keep Iggy alive. Best of luck next time. Damn it, you guys got Iggy killed. What the heck? This is specifically you two's fault. Well, I do suppose that's on me. No, that's on you two. That's on you two. Everything's on you two. And if Carrot someday decides to watch this, Carrot will agree with me. It's on you two, it's not on me. Anyhow, I suppose that will be my excuse to leave things there. Yeah, everything is on YouTube. Hey, Carrot did watch when I played, our Wonderland. So, yeah. They did watch that one and commented on every episode, about every episode, I think. So it's not impossible that they'll come around again and see that I've played another one of their games. But if you want to figure out what happens next, I guess you'll have to go and play it yourself. Go on itch.io, look up justacarrot, and there you go. I shall bid thee farewell, my kindred. I hope you all have a great rest of your mornings, afternoons, evenings, and nights, wherever and whenever you are. May the gods bless you and may the stars shine in your honor. I shall see you all in the next one. Bye-bye, everyone. And what's for tomorrow, actually? Let me see the schedule. Daggerfall. Tomorrow is Daggerfall. Alright, bye-bye.